Bitcoin has seen one of the most brutal corrections in the history of its price action, wiping out over $1.1 billion in liquidations and dropping near $10,000 in price in a matter of minutes. In today's video, we're going to be discussing whether or not Bitcoin is going to go toward the downside, or are we going to see a repeat of the 2023 December fractal? If so, Bitcoin could move back to 100K. We're also going to be taking a look at the total market cap, the altcoin market cap, and Bitcoin dominance in our analysis today. Let's jump on in. Okay, Mega Whale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the recent cataclysmic correction for Bitcoin, wiping off $10,000 in the price of Bitcoin in a matter of minutes. We are going to be discussing exactly what this move means for Bitcoin, where Bitcoin is likely to move to next, and if we are seeing an exact copy of the 2023 December correction. In today's video, we are also going to be taking a look at altcoins, Bitcoin dominance, and so much more. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop of cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us in VIP. We post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to all of our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our daily video, our help, and our news chat. You can find out more information by clicking the pinned comment of the free channel by clicking my name, or these two links to find out our entire trading track record, or a video showing you inside the channel itself. Over 700 members, over 50 months of active trading data. Check it out, guys. Let's dive on in. So as we can see, an absolutely crazy candle. Now, we don't want to, underemphasize how intense this move was. This was quite literally an $8,000 to $9,000 correction for Bitcoin in moments. In 3 minutes, we saw this move to the downside. And if you've been following the channel, we did mention that we were expecting a move up to 104,000, which we hit absolutely perfectly following the breakout of this horizontal consolidation range. We mentioned in our private channel yesterday that we were expecting to see some sort of flush toward the downside because we saw that open interest increased by over $1 billion. We saw funding rates for Bitcoin at insanely high levels, and that was really a telltale sign that we were going to see some sort of move toward the downside. However, this move was much larger than I think most people anticipated, but we have seen something like this occur before. This isn't the first time we've seen a similar style correction for Bitcoin, particularly in the month of December. If we look back at December 2023, you can see we had a horizontal neckline, we broke above the neckline, we saw a rally toward the upside, followed by a significant liquidity grab on the 4-hour chart, nuking us all the way back down to test our lows before we then climb back into the new year. It is possible we are following a very similar fractal. In fact, I have the fractal over here. I'm going to go ahead and drag it up. This is from that December 2023 period, and you can see almost how identical this fractal is playing out. I do not like to follow fractals personally. I think fractals are here and there. They're kind of misleading. However, in this instance, we can see we have had a very clear copy of this thus far. So it is possible that this was the bottom for this move, and we're going to see a gradual climb back up into mid to late December before we see another correction. We'll come back and discuss that in a bit. Moving over to the market data, 24-hour liquidations are insanely high, guys. Insanely high. We are over $1 billion in liquidations, with 815 million coming from longs and 279 million coming from shorts. We had seen some massive single liquidation orders over here on OKX, $18 million in liquidations just in a matter of minutes from single orders. Absolutely crazy stuff. And again, volume is up 34%, 466 billion. As we mentioned many times, mass liquidations often lead to reversals in price action. We saw a liquidation for the downside, and we are now seeing a reversal back upwards. The question is, will this reversal sustain, or will it be short-lived? We'll answer that in today's video. Moving over to the DXY. DXY doing exactly what we're kind of expecting over here, which is an eventual, gradual, slow decline towards these lows by, April, May next year. We are expecting March, April, May next year that we come down and retest these lows for the DXY. Again, for that to be invalidated, we will need to close a candle back above these highs, but until then, we are expecting a correction for the DXY. Moving over to the S&P 500, really putting Bitcoin, in perspective today. The S&P 500 is still holding very well, $6,083. 22 hours remaining on the weekly close, looking like it will close a very healthy weekly candle over here above $6,000, which is a great sign for higher prices. That is it, guys, for the updates. Let's jump over to the crux of the analysis. Again, we are taking a look at Bitcoin. We're going to be diving real deep into the charts over here on the immediate price action. We're discussing higher time frame perspectives. We're going over altcoin market and Bitcoin dominance. Before we get into all that, go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. These are the exchanges I use to trade. You can sign up to the links down below. That will get you a very healthy 15% bonus trading fee discount for life on those exchanges. Again, you'll get that 15% on no matter which exchange you sign up to. And that 15% discount can build up to a 45% trading fee discount based on your trading volume. So go ahead and sign up to those links if you're looking for a new exchange. You'll support me creating the content, you'll support the videos, and you'll support yourself in your trading journey. You can go ahead and sign up, we'll play an ad, and we'll jump in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get stuck back into the video. So taking a look at Bitcoin to start off the video today. As we said, we saw a massive correction, right? There's no doubt about that. The correction was absolutely massive, but I want to come back to the daily chart very quickly before we move on to anything else. And I really want to talk about, let's just go ahead and delete everything. I really want to talk about, what would really make Bitcoin bearish? What is the bearish trigger for Bitcoin? And until that level is reached, Bitcoin is bullish and the macro charts are still healthy. And in our opinion, we are looking for, yet again, the daily breakdown on the uptrend of the RSI. We can see that that level has not yet been broken, and therefore, every correction we see for Bitcoin, we are going to still remain optimistic for reversals and higher prices. The reason being is because this RSI trend line is a representation of the momentum and thus the strength of the price action since the low of this 49K retest. Now, there is a possibility that this mass liquidation at the upside, similar to the mass liquidation on the bottom side, is going to be the start of a reversal. However, until we get the confirmation that the strength has shifted negative, the momentum has shifted negative, and thus the price action will come lower, it is just a speculation. And therefore, it is good to remain optimistic and open to the idea that we could see reversals in the price action. Yet again, when this RSI breaks down, we will be flipping bearish for Bitcoin. Until then, we remain bullish. So with that out of the way, we can take a look at the price action on the smaller time frame. As we can see, and as we have said in our videos for weeks now, we sold at 96k, we rotated to altcoins, so far it has played out perfectly. We had a horizontal consolidation that developed over the course of the last 2 days, and we saw a break toward the upside of the horizontal consolidation. Furthermore, we mentioned that we had a downtrend on the 4-hour RSI. The 4-hour RSI broke toward the upside, which facilitated a positive momentum shift, and we specifically stated in our last video, when the price action was retesting these lows, we stated if we are able to see a positive momentum shift on the 4-hour, that will be the first time we are retesting the range high of this horizontal consolidation from a position of strength as opposed to a position of weakness, as momentum was negative in the prior 2 retests, which will massively increase the probability for a break of the horizontal resistance, a break of 99,000, and a continuation to 104,000. We said that exactly in our prior video, and that is literally exactly what played out. At 104,000, we said we were sidelined. We posted on our Telegram channel. We have sidelines from Bitcoin. We are out of longs. We are waiting for the price action to develop. And thankfully, we were able to avoid this massive liquidity flush as open interest increased by 1 billion on this move toward the upside. Funding rates for Bitcoin was like positive 0.13, which was absolutely insane for Bitcoin. And it was just evident that people were aping in to massive amounts of longs above 100,000, which was really setting Bitcoin up for a huge liquidity flush, which we saw that this liquidity flush, like I mentioned, was significantly larger than what a lot of people anticipated. In fact, it was larger than what even I anticipated, and that is generally how these liquidity flushes go, right? Liquidation flushes occur and they go deeper than most expect, as usual. Now, in terms of our levels, we were able to remain above that 91k level. We did wick below it just to grab that low side liquidity, but we have managed to hold above it. And as we come back to our horizontal levels are really what determine whether or not the price action is bullish or bearish, right? Our horizontal levels are our trigger points, they're our bullish and bearish trigger points. So as we mentioned, a daily chart with the RSI, while we remain above that level, we are bullish. The same thing applies to our 91k level. While Bitcoin is able to sustain above 91,000, we have zero reason to be bearish, as only below 91,000 will the daily RSI break down, and that is our bearish trigger. So we are still bullish on Bitcoin. We are expecting Bitcoin to climb up, and we have a fractal to show you that doesn't explain what is happening, but it shows you a similar scenario to what we've seen in the past. Now, I do want to say I don't technically use fractals when I trade whatsoever. I'm only bringing this fractal up to show you out of purely educational purposes, or should I say entertainment purposes. Now, if we were to see what we saw happen in December 2023, I actually want to show you December 2023 as I found it over here, and I found it was really interesting. What we had was, again, we had this slow grind upwards, we had this breakout of this range, continuation, we had this consolidation sideways in this ascending triangle formation. We then had this breakout of the horizontal neckline. We saw a little bit of a move toward the upside again, and then we saw this massive flash nuke to take out these lows. Again, we come back down. This is kind of equivalent to 91k. This is equivalent to 99,000. You can see we actually dropped just below there. From there, we saw a gradual build toward the upside over the next 3 or 4 days. And then we saw another move toward the upside, creating yet again a new high occurring at the start of 2024. Now, this is very similar to what could happen for Bitcoin. Just by the way the price action is moving, it is looking almost identical. So if we come back to the price action for Bitcoin over here, we can see that we have a very similar fractal. We'll bring that fractal up again. You can see we saw that move upwards. We came back down. We grabbed that low side liquidity, and we are slowly already building back toward the upside. And if we are able to break back above 99,000, we are likely going to see a move to yet again a new high before we then see one more correction before we eventually build back up again. I would say it is highly likely that we'll see that, and that is kind of where I am currently leaning for Bitcoin, provided that 91k holds. Now again, if we drop below 91k and we close that daily candle and we see that negative momentum shift, I will be flipping bearish on Bitcoin. I am currently not in any Bitcoin positions. As you know, I sold all my Bitcoin at 94 to 96,000. That was my target ever since 16.5k on my entry. I took longs upon the breakout. I sold and exited all my longs at 104,000, and I have not been in any positions except the short-term scalp that I took just before this breakdown since then. That is it. I'm currently out of my positions. I am waiting to see how Bitcoin plays out, and now I'm looking to get back into the scalping for Bitcoin. But if I were to say what is more likely, I think while we sustain these lows, it is likely that we eventually climb back up again to create a high, and that is kind of what I'm watching for over the next few weeks. And that is really it for Bitcoin, guys. If we dive into the smaller time frame, and I'll just summarize one more time. The only and most important thing you have to be looking at here is you're looking at from a perspective of invalidations. And I said this about a month or two ago. I said, from this point onwards, I'm trading based on invalidations, meaning I am slowly bringing my bearish trigger points higher and higher, and I will remain bullish until those trigger points are met. And that facilitates two things. Number one, it allows me to exit when the trend officially turns bearish. But number two, it allows me some leeway to stay in and ride the trend while it is in an uptrend. The trend is your friend until it ends. So you're not going to exit the best time, but you're going to exit before the mass drawdown comes. And it will actually allow that insurance to stay in the positions and stay in the market and enable that or facilitate yourself to catch those continuations higher. So again, while 91 holds, I will expect continuations higher. As for the immediate short term, it is very tricky to say what is happening over here. We have seen a massive flush toward the upside already. If we bring up this RSI, we can see some bullish exhaustion is starting to develop. We do have this gap again on the VRPV going up to 98k. It is possible we wick up here and then we see another correction back down. We also do have these major wicks over here that could fill on the minute, so we could even see corrections back into those lows before we build up. Either way, the conditions over here is very high risk, and I'd be more willing to wait to just see how that price action develops rather than aping into positions right now. But I will say, if we are able to get back above 99,000, that is really going to be the trigger to say, okay, we are out of the woods, this correction's over, we are going to see continuations to new highs. That is it, guys. That is the Bitcoin price action. Let's move over now to the altcoin market, because the altcoin market actually buffered a lot of this drop really well. And now, you know, if we imagine back to like 49k when Bitcoin saw that massive correction, $1 billion in liquidations, altcoins dropped 30-40%. But this time around, we saw maybe 10%, we saw 6%, we saw 5%, we saw some altcoins green. And that is attributed to the fact that Bitcoin dominance dropped with this Bitcoin correction, which is a good sign for altcoins. It's telling us already that money is rotating to Bitcoin, and even on this correction, people aren't just fully stepping out of the market, they're moving money into altcoins instead. So that is a good sign for alt season. I think altcoins are showing some strength here. Again, if Bitcoin turns full bearish below 91k, it's likely altcoins get wrecked as well. But provided that doesn't happen, it is still likely we see a continuation of altcoin season. Now we are on the third week. We're coming to the end of the third week. We're about, well, we're day 15, day 16 now into altcoin season. Altcoin season officially started at the beginning of November. It started upon the breakout of the altcoin season trigger. So we have been in altcoin season now for about 2.5 weeks. So altcoin season is very much alive and well. The question is, you know, how aggressive will this altcoin season be? Are we going to see an extended altcoin season, or is it just going to be a flop and we're just going to see a short little move upwards and bring back downwards? My answer to that will be, I will remain optimistic for altcoin season provided Bitcoin remains bullish above 91k and the altcoin season total 3 market cap remains above this $840 billion level. If we look historically, we are seeing an exact copy of the prior cycles. 2020 cycle, 2021 cycle, we saw Bitcoin create a local top. As Bitcoin created a local top, we saw the altcoin season break through its horizontal resistance, and we saw Bitcoin dominance decrease. We are seeing that exact same 3-pattern thing occur again. We are seeing Bitcoin dominance drop as Bitcoin creates that local top. We are seeing the total 3 break through the altcoin resistance, officially initiating altcoin season and facilitating that altcoin season to continue. Based on the altcoin season historical data, it generally lasts around 18 weeks, 17, 18 weeks. Now, that is just an estimate. All altcoins top at different times. We'll have some altcoins that have already topped. Some altcoins may have already topped. Some altcoins may have not even started moving yet. Some altcoins will top during the start of the bear market. Some altcoins just won't do anything. So altcoins and the total 3 is a umbrella term. You have to look at the individual altcoins you are trading individually to get an understanding of how they are developing. The total 3 is just a blanket for the entire crypto space that is not Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as we know, there are thousands of new altcoins being created today, which drags up a lot of that liquidity that we see on this chart. So that is something to consider as well. But as far as the altcoin season, do I think this Bitcoin drop has impacted it? I really don't. I don't see any signs of that being impacted as of right now. In fact, what I am seeing is that altcoins are showing a lot of strength on this correction. Now, will that persist? Will that continue? Who knows? I think it is likely, but if we do start to see, this end up being a mass liquidation into reversal, that will be a massive, massive worry for both Bitcoin and the total. Remember, as I said at 49K, we told you guys at 49K on this correction, right? Let's just go back to it. Let's go to a daily chart. We told you at 49K, right over here, the bottom, we said the bottom was in. The reason we said that is because mass liquidations often onboards money and leads to mass reversals. We have seen a mass liquidation to the bottom side. We have now seen a mass liquidation to the top side. So this is a very, very bad sign so far, right? This is a warning sign. This could actually lead to a reversal in the price action. We do have to be very much aware of that possibility. Okay, so do not just ignore that. That is something we have to be aware of. And in fact, I'd be on the higher time frame. Personally, I'm out of Bitcoin. I'm not expecting Bitcoin to do amazing things from here unless it proves that it's going to. I don't think aping into Bitcoin at $100,000 is a smart move. In fact, you've had months and years to get into Bitcoin at 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. You had 7-8 months buying this bullish consolidation. If you're looking to enter 104,000, you are literally buying a possible local top. So you have to think about it, guys. I think right now, this is a time to be sidelined for Bitcoin. I think right now is a time to be cautiously optimistic. And that is kind of where I'm heading. Cautiously optimistic. I think the future is bright, but after we've seen such a mass liquidation and we had the risk of that developing into reversal, you have to be a little bit more cautious until we start to show significant strength of Bitcoin again. Again, I think the short term, what I believe is going to happen is that we're going to sustain above 91. We're going to see an eventual climb to a new high. And I think from there, we'll see another correction. But until then, I am remaining cautious on Bitcoin. Between this range, I am not positioning any higher time frame positions of Bitcoin. Between 91 and 99, I am not positioning high time frame for Bitcoin. I'm simply trading the short-term chop. I'm swing trading the highs and lows, but I'm not adding Bitcoin bags. I am adding altcoins as I have been doing, but I'm more cautious on Bitcoin. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone was safe from this correction. Again, with these mass corrections, we see a lot of people getting wrecked. I hate to see people getting wrecked, especially on moves like that, right? Like a 1 minute candle, like $8,000 drop. It's just pure manipulation, right? There's nothing more to it. Yes, a lot of people were over positioned and they were in positions where they were unsecure, and eventually you're going to get wrecked if you do things like that. And it just stresses how important risk management is, but it's a sucky lesson to learn. And a lot of people did get wrecked today. But if you were able to manage your emotions and manage your risk, and you didn't FOMO at the top, you avoided a massive drawdown, so you should equally pat yourself on the back. So congratulations, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. See you then.